Hey, how are you guys? It's Mrs. Firestone, and we are ready to do a little continuation of our first, next, last sequential writing from yesterday. So if you remember from yesterday, we made this, you made a 3-part writing, and when we did it, we wrote first, and we folded it back, and you wrote your next, and then you folded it back, and you wrote your last. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and we're going to cut it into a book. Now, watch very carefully. First, you need some scissors, glue, crayons, markers, pens, imagination. I don't know, did you say you forgot that? You can't forget that. You need that every day. So we are going to make this book. Okay. When you're cutting it apart, please make sure you only cut the short way. So I want to cut between first and next, and then I'm going to cut between next and last. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to hold my thumb on top while I'm doing my scissors, and I'm going to cut right down on the line. So now I have first. He's all there by himself. So now I'm going to cut on the second part between next and last. So I have 3 different parts now. I have first, next, last. Okay, so now we need to make this into a book. This is going to be so awesome. I love making books. Books are awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them down. Let's see. I'm going to lay them down. Whoop. So it goes, my bird. First I saw a robin on the street. He was so pretty, he flew away. My daffodils. Next I walked by some daffodils. Some were yellow and some were white. Okay, that's what we have right now. And what I'm going to do is I want to take glue and put it on the back of my first writing. Okay, so I'm going to take my glue, flip it over, and I'm going to just put all over the back. Little dabble do ya, a little dabble do ya, a little dabble do ya to glue ya. Okay, so now I'm going to take my daffodils, and I'm going to glue my daffodils to the words. So let's see, I'm going to put this down. Okay, so now it looks like this. It's the front. First I saw a robin on the street. He was so pretty, he flew away. Turn the page. There's next. Next I walked by some daffodils. Some were yellow and some were white. Now I'm going to put glue on the back of my next words. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue. Little dabble do ya. A little dabble do ya. A little dabble do ya. To glue ya. Okay. So I'm going to take my picture of my green leaves on my branches, and I'm going to glue just this part to the glue I just put down. Rubba-dubba-dubba, glue it in a tubba. Okay, so now it looks like this. Oh, I'm going to cap my glue because I don't want it to dry out. Okay, now it looks like this. Front cover. First I saw a robin on the street. He was so pretty, he flew away. Next, I walked by some daffodils. Some were yellow and some were white. Last, I saw a lot of new green leaves, though they were on trees and bushes. I have a book. So now, because it's a book now, I need some artwork on the front cover. So this whole book was about spring. So I have to think of a title for my story, because I wrote about seeing a robin, I walked about seeing daffodils, and about seeing the leaves on the trees. So all of those things happen in springtime. Yesterday was the first day of spring, so I could call my book The First Day of Spring. That is a great idea. Okay, so I'm going to first take a pencil, because when I'm making the title, I want to make sure I write it correctly. So I'm going to write it in pencil first before I write it in marker. So I'm going to put the first, you know what? That's a bossy R. I'm going to put my I-R first. First. The first day. D-A-Y. Remember, we know how to do that because of our calendar. D-A-Y. The first day of spring. Sp-er. That is a 3-letter blend. Ah! I am so sorry I dropped you. Are you guys okay? All right, thanks. Okay. The first day of spring. King of ing. I-N-G. Okay. If you notice, the T in the is capitalized. The F in first is capitalized. The D in day is capitalized. The S in spring is capitalized. Do you know why? Do you? It's because it's a title. We want to make sure all of the words have an uppercase letter. The word of doesn't because he's not a... Okay, so we have our pencil down and we have all our words on the first day of spring. I have my capitals because it is a title. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to use, you know what? I think I'm going to use orange. And I'm going to trace over the letters of my title. The first, oh, it has a blend at the end of first, day of spring. And I am going to make some brown squiggly lines, like this, and then I'm going to take my green marker and I'm going to just put little green dots near my black squiggle or my brown squiggle lines, and that will look like, yeah, exactly, that will look like the leaves on the first day. And you know what? I'm gonna make some grass on the bottom of some of these letters so it looks like that they are coming out of the grass. There we go. So you can add anything you want to the front, just as long as it goes with your story. And then now I have a title. I have my story. And on the back, we, in my classroom, we always like to write 2 words when we're done with writing a story. Exactly. The end. So I'm going to write the, T-H-E, the end. D, the end. Awesome. If you wrote a sequential story and you want to read it to me, I would love to hear it. So put your story on Seesaw, email it to me. I would love to hear what you are writing about. I would definitely love to hear your voice and to hear you read your story. I just can't wait to hear all of the wonderful stories you were writing about. If you didn't write it now. Do it now. Go back and get a piece of paper, divide it into 6s, and go back and check out our first, next, last story. You know how to do this. Now you know how to make it into a book. Great job today. I will be back in a little bit for some more wonderful learning. Have a wonderful afternoon.